What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching the Ragin Ronin review. I got a review for you. The film that I'm about to review is not a film that I watched in the theaters. It is, in fact, an animated film that I saw on Blu-ray, and it is Batman: The Killing Joke. A very, very highly anticipated release for Batman fans, and also it is, of course, based off of the controversial and also iconic graphic novel of the same name from Alan Moore. Now, this is a very, very highly anticipated release because it is the first R-rated Batman animated film from Warner Brothers Animation. A lot of the films from Warner Brothers Animation in the DC line have really pushed the envelope on the level of violence. For example, Dark Knight Returns, I was surprised that it didn't get an R rating because of that body count. But they kept that at PG-13 for Dark Knight Returns. However, Batman: The Killing Joke definitely has to have an R rating, and that is because if you read the original graphic novel, there's a level of violence and disturbing content that, like even sexual content even, that really just, it's not for, well, it's for mature audiences, you know what I'm saying? So, to be faithful to the graphic novel, they had to include all that stuff in, and then they have a feature-length film. Well, actually, they don't. They don't have enough content in the graphic novel to make a feature-length film. By feature-length film, I'm talking about 70 minutes plus. That is the general running time for these DC animated films. They're just a little bit over 70 minutes, but actually the content from the graphic novel only makes up half of the film, actually. They actually added some more material so that they can make up that 70-minute running time. Now, before I get right into this review, I just want to let you guys know that there is spoilers. This review is full of spoilers. It's kind of hard to not review this film without giving stuff away because a lot of things in this film just don't work. And I just want to get into specific details as to why it doesn't work. I mean, if I were to review it without giving anything away, I'll just tell you that there was some poor direction. It doesn't work as a feature-length film. It's not cohesive. It feels like we're watching two different movies, and I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 because only half of the movie is good. And that's my non-spoilerish review. Now, as for my spoiler-filled review, which makes up the bulk of this video, I will tell you that they can do one of two things to make it a proper running time at 70 minutes, and that is they could pad the original story, and by padding it, I mean adding extra exposition that wasn't in the graphic novel, or they can add an entire new section to it. So what they did here is a prologue. They added a prologue, which I'd like to call the Batgirl prologue, and that's exactly what they did. Half of the film is actually the Batgirl prologue, which actually isn't in the graphic novel, and the other half is, of course, The Killing Joke, which they actually produced very faithfully to the graphic novel, actually. So I'll tell you that Batman fans and fans of the original graphic novel, you will love this. You will love half of it. You will love the second half of it because it's so true to the graphic novel. But the other half, I understand why they did it. They need to make it a longer film, and to top things off, or rather a longer story, and to top things off, they wanted to create motivations for Batman. Okay, they wanted to create a little bit of why you should care about these characters, or why Batman should care about these characters. And it just doesn't work, like, at all whatsoever. I actually didn't mind the Batgirl story, but if you look at it as like a cohesive narrative, it isn't. It isn't cohesive at all. It feels like two completely different stories, two completely different films, which don't blend well together. And what I saw in the prologue is not Batman: The Killing Joke. It is something else entirely different. And it is, it's really just Batgirl's story, and then how Batman sees her as a, I wouldn't say a sidekick, but like someone who's not ready to be out there. And Batman is being super protective of him, and then they get it on. And that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. In fact, if they take out the sex scene that was talked about, it would still be the same prologue. Okay, so whether they add it in, whether they take it out, it's the same prologue. But the fact that they added it in didn't really affect the Killing Joke in the Killing Joke portion of the film the way that you would have wanted it to affect it, because it just feels like, hey, hey, Commissioner Gordon, I banged your daughter and now she's in the hospital, and so that's that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. Like, why they would even add that in, and I'm not even sure why they decided to add that in. But I will tell you that none of this feels very, very cohesive, and so it feels like half of the film is like a completely different direction. Sam Liu is the director. You'll recognize him from a lot of the DC animated films, namely the Batman ones. And you also have Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill reprising their roles as Batman and Joker, and they do such a great job, but it doesn't work. Like, their performances are great, but the narrative itself is very, very flawed. Even if you decided to, like, translate the graphic novel as a short film, and by short film I mean like a 30 to 40 minute film, it actually doesn't work, because you actually don't even really have a beginning, middle, and end. It works in comics because, and graphic novels, because they don't actually have to abide by the same rules as storytelling in film. They can end it however they want, and it would still make for a great story. However, in a film, you gotta have a structure, a beginning, middle, end, plot, conflict, climax, conclusion. And what we're left here was anticlimactic. And there's no sense of closure, or it just feels like the story's incomplete. I like the way it was in the graphic novel. Very, very, a story that's very, very well told. But once we watch it on the big screen, it doesn't play out the way we would ideally hope for. And in that sense, it really makes for a flawed and weak story. So that's what I gotta say about this film. And there you have it. I give it a 5 out of 10, because half of the movie is good. Half of the movie is true to the source material. Still, it doesn't quite work as a story, but it's still very, very engaging in the second half of the film. I will say that even though they decided to put the Killing Joke story in the second half, it still doesn't quite work, because of, like, they're adding exposition in, like, wrong parts of a 70-minute running time. I mean, you're adding, like, flashbacks, like, near the climax of the film. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work. So anyways, a 5 out of 10. I still enjoyed it for what it is, but for those that don't know anything about the source material, for those that just want to watch it out of curiosity without any knowledge of where it came from and the origins, then you're going to be going like, what the F? Like, this is messed up. This is like it doesn't make any sense at all, and that's how a lot of people are going to feel. This film is made for fans. Okay, it's a movie that is definitely made for fans, and it's definitely made for fans of the graphic novel. And even if you're a fan of the graphic novel, you're going to think that it just didn't quite work that well. You'll think that reading the graphic novel worked much better than watching it lay out on film. And I didn't even mind the animation style. It wasn't even about that. It was just the story. It just didn't work. Anyways, that's all I gotta say in this review. And, well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be giving you guys more reviews and movie updates, so stay tuned for more videos. And as always, if you enjoyed this review, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. My name's Alex Yu. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. $1 million with their production budget. That is a very small number, and what they were able to present to us was something that is pretty extraordinary.